At BVU, our unique niche in the community is engaging business talent to strengthen nonprofits. We connect talented, committed people with nonprofit organizations that are shaping our region's future. And when we make those connections, when we help the right leaders lead in the right boardrooms, we see extraordinary things happen. Nonprofits get stronger, communities thrive, and leaders discover a new dimension of purpose in their own lives. Tonight, we celebrate that kind of leadership. First, we honor someone who embodies it at the highest level. A founding force behind BVU and a model for what impactful board service can, and I would say should be. In addition, we celebrate our newest board matching participants who are just beginning their nonprofit board service journeys as well. So again, thank you all for attending this evening. And I will turn the mic, I won't drop it yet, but I'll turn it over to Biz, who will kick our program off. Biz?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is so exciting, and I can't believe that it's you all made it here on this very busy end of December. What I was trying to say to you is that these actually aren't my notes. These are the ones that are in 0.8 font, but I'm going to try to see them. But Rick, thank you so much. And I thank every single one of our board members and our former board members who are here tonight. Our board puts so much time and energy and, just their brain power and their resources into what we do. And we just approved a big strategic plan, a new mission tonight. It's such an exciting time for BVU. And so I really want to recognize our board members. And Brian, our former CEO, and all the incredible BVU staff here. So thank you. I also want to recognize our sponsors, and I know KeyBank is one of our big sponsors for this tonight, and Oswald, and Bober, and Ratliff, and that's what I'm missing, Sarah, in terms of, there's a sign somewhere, so that's what's not in my notes right here. It's back in the corner, but we are so hugely appreciative to all the sponsors of our board matching program that really make all the other things that we put around the board matching program possible. And tonight, this award that we're giving to Tom, and just Tom, we're so thrilled to be able to give this to you. It's in honor of Dick Pogue, who really epitomized to us back in 2018 what civic engagement was. I mean, he's a board member who has served on numerous boards in our community and planted seeds that are going to be impacting people for generations to come. So we created the board back in 2018, and then I think in 2019, Randy McShepard received it. He's here somewhere. Hello, Randy. Thank you. And then Eddie Taylor. So thank you. And that's it for, I think, who's here tonight. Bob Clonk received it last year. And so as with Dick and with Eddie and with Randy, Tom has served on numerous boards, and he doesn't just serve, he shows up, and he's made an incredible impact on so many of the organizations, including being the founding board chair of BVU back in 1993. He's one of the first people that I met when I decided to volunteer for BVU, and then it actually turned into a job. So, and I think without Tom's perseverance, he recognized early on that in Greater Cleveland, we needed some kind of a vehicle to get all the talented business people involved in the nonprofit sector to help strengthen nonprofits. And that focus, and over the years, he said to me time and time again, and this means so much to me, I'm so proud of you because you haven't strayed, you've kept your focus, you're still matching people to nonprofit boards. But he set us up for success and pulled together an incredible board. And we're just so grateful for all that he did for BVU. But now here he is. He started several other nonprofit organizations. He's involved on 5 different nonprofit boards right now, focusing on nature and children's education. And you're chairing the capital campaign for Mary and Joseph's Home, just incredibly involved and engaged. And I would say that when I see Tom and work with him, he's like the ever ready bunny that keeps going. But he's so committed and passionate about making a difference in this community and really wants to leave his mark. And we're just so grateful for that. So, Tom, I'm going to ask you to come up and make some comments, if you will, but want to present you on behalf of the board and staff at BVU as the 2025 recipient of the Richard W. Pogue Civic Leadership Award.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear friend and incredible leader in our community, so thank you.
Thank you.
Here you go. I'll take this, thanks.
I usually don't use notes, but I usually talk much longer than I should. So, but I also hate not having a microphone that's in place because I talk with my hands, and having a note and having a microphone in my hand is not the most conducive way to do this. But I came to Northeast Ohio. I've lived in 7 states. I moved 20 times. I came to Northeast Ohio in 1986, and I had a pretty heavy nonprofit background when I came here. But I immediately saw Northeast Ohio as, I think, one of the most spectacular places there were to live. And sometimes it takes people who come from the outside to realize what we truly have here. The green space, the philanthropic community, the giving of people's time was extraordinary, beyond anything I'd ever seen. So in 1988, Don Messenger got me into Leadership Cleveland. I'm not going to say it was the best class, but I met a ton of people that really catapulted me to getting deeply involved in the community. And I associated with 5 major people that I consider mentors to me, examples of how to do it, and guides. Dick Pogue, who Biz mentioned, certainly one of those people. Randy McShepard, that he and I have done a ton of things together, and I have just incredible admiration for the time and energy that he puts in. Fran Buckholzer, who's here sitting at that table, is kind of my mother, that we've kind of had that relationship for 25 years. Just amazing person. Rob Briggs, who's not here today, who's done magnificent things in the entire Northeast Ohio community. And then Bruce Akers, who literally was the one who had the idea. BVU wasn't my idea. I was the catalyst to be able to make it happen. I'm an innovator. I'm an entrepreneur. And Bruce Akers, for 5 years, carried that idea in his mind before anything happened. So I thought what I'd like to do, for many of you that don't know the story, is tell you the history of BVU very briefly and recognize some of the people that started it, just so you understand what you're doing today, how similar it is to what the vision was established 32 years ago. So in May 1991, while I was doing the restart of American Steel and Wire, Bruce Akers and Neil Malachy, many people know him, the former president of Ball and Wallace University, came in to see me trying to get money for the Ohio Fund for Independent Colleges. So I listened to their story. I've been on 5 college boards, spent 60 years on it. I'm totally educationally focused, and I said, absolutely, we'll give you some money. And we had a wonderful meeting. But the real outcome of that meeting was a lot more than simply that contribution, because it would have significant impact on Northeast Ohio, but on me personally especially. So several months later, Neil came to me and asked me to join the Ball and Wallace board, where I served for 21 years. I'm an emeritus trustee. I chaired the Academic Affairs Committee for 16 years, and my wife Diane, who's here tonight, and gives me the ability and patience to allow me to do the things I do, which intrude on her weeknight and weekend time. He immediately got me involved in establishing an organization for students at Ball and Wallace to get involved in community volunteering. So that's how I got my start in what was happening in Cleveland from a nonprofit standpoint. And of course, the next thing that happened was Bruce Akers came to meet with me, described this multi-year plan that he had festering for 5 years, trying to get this idea of building a nonprofit organization that would focus with his contemporaries from Eaton and BP at the time, and he had Society at that time, and $45,000 each that they dedicated to the situation. They were looking for an entrepreneur that they felt had the ability to go ahead and start up something like this and would have a passion for it. And so I listened to him, and I thought, here I am running a startup steel company, which at that time was no easy task. And now I was going to take on a startup of a major nonprofit organization. But I said my prayers. This is obviously what I was supposed to be doing, so I said yes. So in June of 1991, my executive assistant, Pat Libertoski, and I began assembling a top-notch board, raising additional funding, and building a strategic plan for what was called at the time the Business Volunteerism Council, BVC. 2 prime objectives characterized the vision: the building of a volunteer corps from Northeast Ohio companies to both help nonprofit organizations thrive while enhancing the culture of their own companies, and to train upwardly mobile members of Northeast Ohio companies, especially minorities, to become knowledgeable and contributing board members to be placed at smaller nonprofits destined to become key contributing members of increasingly larger nonprofits as they progressed up their corporate ladder. Virtually every board that I have served on and serve on today has members that have been placed by BVU, and it's an incredible sense of gratitude when I see them. And considering the many services that BVU now provides and has grown into, it is remarkable and incredible that after more than 3 decades, BVU still has as its touchstone that original vision. So I want to mention the names of the members of that original board, first meeting in March of 1992, whose job was quite different from subsequent boards. They required their networking, their passion, and commitment to actually make BVU happen. Bruce Akers, who I mentioned, and Bruce fell and broke his hip, and he's recuperating. He could not be here tonight, but he sends his best regards to everybody, was certainly the most important person. Don Messenger, who has been a friend of mine for a long time. Bill Summers, who was CEO at McDonald's at the time. Dennis Lafferty from Jones Day, who was kind of the right-hand man to Bruce's efforts. And then Bill Butler, who was the CEO at Eaton Corporation and also was the chairman at United Way at the time. And I convinced Bill to contribute furniture from United Way's donated goods clearinghouse for an office that we would establish for BVU. Bill, what, you still use it? I believe that. Bill Joseph, who was a partner at West and Hurd, and some of these people are no longer with us, but their memories and what they did are represented by you folks in this room. He provided pro bono legal work, and his expertise was nonprofit organizations. Wayne Embry was GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Russ Gifford, CEO of East Ohio Gas. Henry Meyer, who at the time was EVP at Society. Jackie Woods, who was the CEO at AT&T. Jackie gave us free telephone service for 2 years to be able to reduce our costs there. Brian Ratner at Forest City gave us office space in Tower City, where we were for a long period of time. Doug McCabe, who was the CEO at M.A. Hanna. Tom Greer, who was the editor of Plain Dealer. Sally Sterling from Heydrich and Struggle. She led the pro bono national search for our executive director. And then, while not a board member, Walt Stolpe, who was the CEO at APCOA, provided free employee parking. So we really had a womb to tomb philosophy where our expenses for running the operation were virtually non-existent. It's interesting that typical fashion, I think, for most people, no less than 6 of the people on that board were classmates of me in the 1988 Leadership Cleveland class, which speaks well for the whole philosophy of the way Northeast Ohio functions. So in less than a year, this board raised an additional $500,000, hired an executive director in October of 1992, and Denise O'Brien and Biz Voudouris were the next 2 members brought on board. Now, Biz mentioned something that I didn't think anybody knew, but we didn't have any money to hire people at that time. And Biz so much wanted to be involved because this was her heart and soul that she volunteered and wanted to prove to Alice that she was the right person for the job. So when we got the money, we had the ability to pay it. Fortunately for her and for us, she's been a star. And I'm being an entrepreneur. She has taken this organization. Brian took it from Alice and grew it. But the ability to keep an organization entrepreneurially focused, to have the culture, to be able to have the camaraderie of the organization and the way they work together and the way they feel about one another, that's second to none. And she has been able to do that in an outstanding job and deserves so much credit. So we're here tonight surrounded by BVU founding board members, current and former board members, trained and placed by board members that have been trained and placed by BVU's programs during 2025, and every single person in this room is some way responsible for the ability to have recruited over 400,000 volunteers and trained and placed over 4,000 board members in less than, in a little over 30 years' time, and have helped so many other Northeast Ohio citizens. So as we approach Christmas, I think all of us, it's important to think about the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And just think if Bruce Akers hadn't had the grit and the perseverance to be able to focus on this idea and want to make it a reality, and we weren't here today, imagine what Northeast Ohio would be like. All of you had the ability to carry it on it and grow. It is without question the most significant volunteer organization of its kind in the country, recognized by many, many people because of the people that here started, because of the people that run it, and because of the people that are carrying it on. So thank you very much for the award. I'm thrilled with it. Have a blessed holiday, and thank you so much for everything that you've done. God bless you. Oh, and now I'm going to introduce Jess Young. So thank you, Jess. How you doing?
Thank you. Congratulations. You too. Wow. Thank you, Tom, and my sincerest congratulations. What a way to model the way for all of us as community leaders. Hi, everybody. I'm Jessica Young. I serve as the president of Oswald Companies and a proud member of the BVU board. Welcome to our 1893 Lounge. It's named 1893 Lounge because that's when we started to be in business in Cleveland, Ohio, with a core value of commitment to community ever since then. And we actually built this for this exact reason. So it makes me so happy to have you all with us and to continue to support BVU and all of the nonprofits in the community that we serve. So a couple thoughts. One of the most meaningful parts of tonight is that so many of our guests are new board matching participants, and you're all here with us. You represent the next generation of civic leaders, the people who will sit at the tables where decisions get made, where strategies take shape, and where communities are strengthened. As you heard from Tom, board service isn't just about governance. It's about a passion for a cause and making an impact. It's about using your experience and your perspective to help an organization thrive and get better. And in the process, this is the cool part, something else happens. You grow as a human and as a professional. You build relationships, you deepen your understanding of our community, and you discover how your leadership can create real and lasting change. Tom's story shows us what's possible when someone says yes to starting that journey, just like you all did. And you all are now new board matching participants. You're at the very start of your own awesome journey, just like Tom. So tonight we honor Tom, not just for the extraordinary path that he has walked, but for the example that he has set for every single leader in this room. Thank you again, Tom. To our new community civic leaders, BVU will continue our commitment to you. We will provide the support, the advanced training, and the consulting that you need to make your board experiences meaningful and successful. Please stay connected to us and lean on BVU and the team as a resource throughout your nonprofit journey. And if you're able, we'll always welcome the support, the philanthropic support of our mission, of course. So if you are here from the board matching program, please raise your hand. Look at all of you. Thank you. A round of applause for all of you, and congratulations. So they say it takes a village. So here's the fun part. If you are here from the BVU board, please raise your hand and keep them raised. All of you board matching participants recognize that. I would like you all. We have plenty of food, drink, fun music. Let's be with each other in this awesome space. Find each other, and BVU board members, please share your greatest tip on what it takes to be an absolutely amazing board member with our new class of future leaders. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the commitment that you're making to shaping the future of Northeast Ohio and the communities we serve. Congratulations and cheers to everybody. Enjoy the rest of the evening.